Welcome back. I'm Jen Potter, host of Networking Now, and I've been joined in the segment by Jennifer Hopson, who has her primary focus is on health and wellness. And today we have been talking about a multitude of things. We started off the show talking about our struggles and the things that we don't talk in business. We took a deep dive into health and wellness and why it is so important. Health and wellness and taking care of ourselves, setting boundaries, and most importantly, saying no. And Jen, you said something during the break, which I really, really liked. So tell us something about saying no and staying in alignment that really like just kind of hit me.
Well, I what I tell my clients all the time, especially when we're doing that exercise, is that saying no, it's to protect your yes, right? It's the body armor for your yes. And I think the further that we go into that part of the conversation that you really need to identify is, well, what are you saying yes to? Right? You have to identify, well, what am I protecting? What's that yes? And doing that, well, step back. Most people, especially entrepreneurs, want to do tons of things, yourself included, right? You have four businesses because there's so many different things you want to do. And we have to remember we can't do everything great at the same time, right? We can't be great at 10 different things. If we can focus our energy into three things, really give all of our energy, our effort into three things, then we're going to really exceed at them. So identifying what they are. For me, what I usually start with, it's family, finances, and fitness. Maybe that's my three. Well, if something doesn't align, yes, we're doing something with the family, but we're not actually spending quality time together, then that might not, somebody else's birthday party, maybe that doesn't make sense for us to spend that time where we could go do something together. So it kind of, you start there and then you peel the onion back and see where it's going. But at the end of the day, it's saying no to things to protect your yes so that you can exceed at those things, or you can reach your goals, or you just feel fulfilled in the things you said were important to you.
It's so true. It's so, so true because the more we spread ourselves out, the harder it is to do things. Myself included. And, I own multiple businesses, but there was something that you said earlier in the show about giving people responsibilities so they can shine. So I'm only able to do all the things I'm able to do is because I have such an amazing team. And I work with so many different people that are just so incredible that, my cleaning company completely is ran by my partner. She is absolutely incredible. And I've entrusted that onto her, knowing that that part is taken care of. My babysitting company, I do a lot of work with that, but I also have, my general manager who is absolutely incredible doing her job, who is able to take a lot of that responsibility off of me as well. So the only reason why I'm able to continue to do all the things that I'm doing is because I have people who are helping me in order to continue to grow. Because, like you said, the more times I say yes, the less time I have, the more stretched out I am over things. I have three kids. I have four businesses. I run a nonprofit. I'm doing all of these things, but I have to be very conscious of how I'm spreading my time. And sometimes I do have to say no. And sometimes it's really hard. It's really
Yeah.
hard when I have to say no to something that I feel really passionate about. But I walk through all of those different things and I say, is it in alignment with the things that I'm doing? And if it isn't, you have to sit back and say, you know what, that's something I can't do. And if I can't do it, who can do it for me? And I find for me, one of the things that I've started really leveling up in this more recently because for me, and you know this, collaboration over competition, right? That is so important to me. And, when I'm doing things, and this is, one of the reasons of how we've connected and continued to grow, both, in our friendship and our business relationships. And for me, it's okay, well, I can't do this. Or, you know what? Maybe Jen can do that for maybe that's something Jen might be interested in, and it could be a good opportunity for you. And I want to turn around and I want to help someone else to shine and, play on words like your business. It's what you help people do. I love like the name of your business always gets me excited because it makes me feel like that vibrancy.
Mhm.
And so I think it's so important to like make other people feel that as well. So if it's something that's not in alignment with you, you know somebody that you could ask the same question to. Hey, no, Jen can do this. Hey, no, someone else can do this. I think that they would be a better fit because then it makes you look good because you're like, oh, you can't say yes to this one particular thing, but you have really awesome friends. And I like to make other people feel amazing and do things that like, oh, I couldn't do that, but you know what? Now you can do it, and I can watch you be the best possible version of yourself. So
Yeah.
I think it's so important. And there are just so many things that we do throughout the course of the day that I feel like, if we were able to not do a handful of them, we'd be more efficient and just be better at what we do. And every day I try to say, what are some things that I can offload in a different direction in order to continue to do the things that make me happy? And it's hard. It's really hard.
Well, what's funny is a lot of times when we say no and less yes more often, we actually feel more fulfilled. And one of the things what you said during the break is, some people they're afraid to say yes because they think they're going to miss out on opportunities or clients or, there's more payout or exposure. When in reality, what you and I both came to the same conclusion is when you say no, the right opportunities are going to come around, right? You say no to this one, a better one came around the corner because if you're putting that energy out into the universe, they're going to show up and you can't say
Hmm.
yes. It's like the funny little universe's game. It's like, "Oh, did you say yes to the right one?" But you have to protect it, and the right one is the one that's gonna move the needle forward for the goals that you picked, and it's the one that's gonna be in alignment, and it's gonna make you feel fulfilled and you're living on purpose, I think is really important. So I love that you had said that when we were talking. It's your no allows for the good ones, the good yeses, and we're
Absolutely.
so afraid or being shamed or even just, I'm connected to a lot of mothers, especially in my network marketing business, that's a way for them to contribute to their family. And they're so afraid to say no to every single extracurricular, not necessarily because they want to do them, but because of the shame, the mom or parent shame that comes with saying no to it. When it's like, honestly, I don't want to go to 85 birthday parties in June. Like, I love you dearly. Here's a gift card, and we'll do something together another time. And it's
Hmm.
okay to say no. And I think even just as adults, not just entrepreneurs, you have to work on that part of communication, letting it go and being able to say, perfect example is I don't know why I still know people that are in weddings, but I do. And sometimes they don't actually fit into your budget, but you feel obligated to say yes, where we need to learn how to have that conversation, especially as entrepreneurs, and say, hey, I'm so thankful that you thought of me and I really do appreciate it. At this time, I just am not going to be able to participate. And I think that happens in business sometimes. And then we ghost people rather than have that open conversation so that they come to us the next time they have something really amazing versus I just don't know how to say no. So I'm going to pretend it doesn't exist. And then they're never going to ask me for anything ever again. So
Right.
you're
And
fulfilling that
it's okay to
prophecy.
say no. Like I say that all the time. Like when I give somebody an opportunity, I look at them and I say, if it is not a good fit, tell me no. It's okay. You're not going to hurt my feelings. It goes the thing. I say that to my employees.
Yeah.
If you no longer want to work here, you're not going to hurt my feelings. I rather you show up to a job that you love. If for some reason you don't love what you're doing, that's okay.
Yes.
And I feel okay with it, but, then it's that feeling of disappointment. People tell me all the time because they love working, so I'm told people love working for me. I just won't be like, "Hey, everybody loves working for me." But what I've been told in the past is my employees have had a hard time quitting because or, to go do something else, and I'm like, "Well, why? I own businesses that are meant to not be long term." And I don't mean that in any disrespect for anybody who wants to stay in the industries and they wanna do
Sure.
that, but for a majority of my employees, I don't expect them to be here for the long haul.
Yeah.
And if they do, that's fantastic. But, if you have another opportunity, I want you to take it. But they tell me all the time, they're like, I have this fear of like disappointing you. Like, you're not going to disappoint me. Not telling me is disappointing me. Tell me that's important. If I'm going to give you an opportunity, it's okay to say no. And if there's anything, I think that this is probably one of the biggest touch points that we talked about. And it's funny because you never know what that aha moment's going to be. And I think for this, it's that. I think it's having that aha moment of being able to say no, and because then again, I'm gonna turn around and I'll ask somebody sometimes,
Well, I think what you're saying, they don't want to disappoint you is really where
yes,
it's at. And those are qualities of a good leader. What that has meant is, and I tell people all the time, people don't quit businesses or programs, they quit people. And the fact that they don't want to quit is because you've become an actual leader and mentor in their life versus a boss. That's a big difference. And I think so many people should really strive to be that kind of person when you have so many employees. It's not this clocking in, it's not this repertoire. It's I have a way that I can serve people and pour into people. And if I can take all the stuff that I've had to go through and I had to, go the hard way to learn how to say no and impart some of your wisdom, whether they take it or not, and share that with them, that's why they don't want to leave and disappoint you, but it's because they're learning something from you already. So that part, that's a really hard one to say no to because it's something they want to hang on to that part of the relationship. And maybe they have to go back and maybe I do want to work here forever. Or
Right.
how do I keep that relationship going if I'm no longer in that company?
And it's funny, it's like you always try to maintain those relationships, which I think is super important. And I think because I've that's one of the skill sets that I think I personally have always been able to, hold on to in work relationships, but even personal relationships. Like, people that I've dated in the past, I'm friends with every single one of them. And it's funny because, for a long time, everyone would be like, how are you friends with your ex? Because we had an open line of communication. And just if a relationship isn't working out, we're both on the same page. And I think that that's so important in so many aspects of our lives, because if you can do things like that, you can do that at work and you can maintain that relationship. I'm friends with bosses that I used to have because all of these people come back into your lives at different points.
I'm just laughing, Jen, because somebody has asked, Jen, why are you friends with your ex-boyfriend's ex-girlfriend? And I'm like, because
Oh,
she's
me too, me
a
too.
nice person. I'm like, it's just what we do. You have to build a relationship, and if they're a person worthwhile, I don't care why
Yeah.
or we know each other.
I just got my one of my ex's wives as a client. So it's funny because I why not be friends with I'm actually friends with a handful of them. One of them was messaging me lipstick colors earlier today. And it's so funny because it's an ex's ex. And I was like, well, she's fantastic and she has great lipstick, you know. And by the way, you do have amazing lipstick. So thank
Thank
you for
you.
wearing lipstick for today. Because that's my new thing. But it's been such a pleasure to talk to you today. I can't believe that we're already almost out of time. I would love for you to tell everybody how they can get a hold of you. And, we're going to continue more conversations in the future, but how can everybody get a hold of you?
Absolutely. I love connecting regardless of whether or not the programs are for you. And you can always direct message me right on Instagram at Shine Up Coaching. And if you prefer email, it's super easy. It's Jennifer Hopson VP at Gmail. And you can always reach me there. Not
Awesome.
always.
Because we set boundaries. You can send her an email and she'll get back to you Monday morning because it's Friday and she deserves the weekend with her kids. And, always respecting that time. So I thank you so much for being here today. It's always a pleasure. I always love talking with you. And we were saying it during the break too, because we just have a continuous conversation even when we're in between things. So it's fantastic. My name's Jen Potter. I am the host of Networking Now, and I hope to see you all again soon. Have a great day.
This has been a Now Media Networks feature presentation. All rights reserved.